Hello, everyone. Welcome to Couch Potato Queen's Bachelor Recap. We're here with Season 25, Episode 9, The Women Tell All. I have my lovely co-host, Alex.
Hello, happy to be here.
And our wonderful special guest, also known as my mother, Lori. This way. Welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
So today, the women tell all, that's what we're talking about. I think that we got some revelations that some girls were mean girls who we maybe thought were, but didn't know for sure. There wasn't, I think a lot of it was expected because we had a lot of drama on the season beforehand. We saw a lot of it, so I think we knew what they were going to talk about. Girls were very forward. We kind of knew already how they felt. But I think that, honestly, the internet comments for this episode were the most telling. So I have 6 points, 6 internet points that I think stood out.
I love this. I feel like you're presenting a PowerPoint to us. And
I felt like I wanted to make a PowerPoint.
I feel like I should take notes.
You probably should. I have quite a few notes this week just to structure this real well for us to make sure it wasn't too loosey-goosey because the women tell all is kind of loosey-goosey. So the 6 points of my PowerPoint are Queen is toxic. Anna is toxic and thinks that Chicago is a small town. Chelsea has finally revealed herself as being toxic, but some of us thought that. I think we just thought she was really hot and wanted her to be better. But she was revealed as toxic, or revealed herself as toxic, rather. Katie and Brittany are wonderful and should never apologize for anything. Matt is letting everyone off way too easily. And finally, Matt has a weird beard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What? It didn't even look real. It looked
Let's
like it
just
was
start
glued
with
on.
the beard. Let's just start with the beard. We may as well, because there's no starting or stopping point with that. Lori, how'd you feel about it?
No, it was way I felt like something was gonna crawl out of it. It was thick. And I couldn't take my eyes off of it, which was so annoying.
It looked like it was glued on, kind of.
Like grows right here. Like who grows a beard from halfway down your face?
I thought that Matt had walked out in a disguise and it was a joke.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He was like, oh, I'm facing all of my ex-girlfriends, so I better put on a disguise or something. He was gonna take it off. I don't know. But
I think I was in shock too. I loved the James Harden jokes because that's one of the very few NBA players who I know, and I've never liked his beard either. So that made me happy. And I think that we can tell who the winner is going to be based on which one of these women would have told him to grow that beard.
Really?
Who would have liked that? Let's just think.
Honestly, I can't see any of them liking that beard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Alex.
Let's think about stereotypical. Which woman would think that men with beards are just hot in general? Let's just think. I'm thinking Rachel. We're just going to throw it out there. She thinks it makes her unique if she has a man with a beard.
I could see it, I guess, but that beard was gnarly.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan either.
I gotta give him credit, man. He grew a pretty thick beard in a pretty short amount of time.
That was Paris's question. Wait, when was this filmed? This had to have
pretty quick.
I thought Bachelor was happening as it was being filmed almost. So when did he actually grow this beard?
Yeah. So it may not be real.
It might not be. Maybe it is stuck on.
Maybe I was right. It is a disguise.
It's like one of those Etch-a-Sketches where they tip it and all the stuff accidentally stays in the wrong place.
I think I saw a meme like that where you know those gas station games where you take the pen and you get the magnetic ones. That was here's Matt James.
Yes, that's what
Sorry, Matt. I don't mean we don't mean to body shame you or anything. It's
I'm just
wonderful.
Where is the Bachelor stylist right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because Matt could look very good with a beard.
He could. It just wasn't well tamed.
No, and it just wasn't the right beard. He could, because he could have a really bushy beard. He had enough hair.
Apparently.
Like it looked like really thick and cool and nice, but it just like it looked like he like threw hair at his face. I was like, girl, that is not it.
Nope. And then spritzed it with a bottle of water afterwards because it was so shiny.
It was just not it. That was not it.
No, it was not it.
I think the stylist gave up on Matt a long time ago.
Yeah, I would agree. They did fix his hairline. His hairline got even. He got nice waves.
Good. Well,
that early on, but
yeah.
Good for Matt.
Good for Matt. He's learning. So on from Matt's beard. The Women Tell All starts with some first impressions. Everyone thinks that he is so easy to talk to, is very excited to get to know him. Chelsea says that she was really confident because of what she was wearing, and that's all that gave her confidence, which is cool. I can feel that.
She looked great.
She did look great. We talked about her dress for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Kind of shows where she's going to go for in the episode, though, I think. Then after that, we get some recap scenes of the whole show. We've all seen them. We've talked about them. The ones that they highlight are Matt showering and working out. Paris is very confused while he's carrying a log through the woods.
That's a justified confusion.
Yes, I thought so too. I like his little comments. He should
If anybody who watches knows about this form of exercise, please let us know in the comments. Please reach out to us individually. We'd really like to know.
If you are Paul Bunyan, hit us up.
Please slide into our DMs.
Yeah, and what's the purpose of just throwing it? Like, why wouldn't you at least build a fort out of it or something?
Just throw it,
throws
right?
it off and just throws it randomly in the middle of the yard.
Not even to chop it.
Have a purpose for
Nothing,
it.
right? Chopping is good exercise too.
Yeah.
So many Matt working out and showering scenes. We see so many. Then we see a lot of cat fight scenes, Q being mean, a lot of scenes like that. The new women coming in. They highlight Queen taking the crown, so we know that's going to come up later.
And then, it looks like Lori's found the crown.
Yeah.
Who do you think took Queen's crown?
If I could have taken Queen's crown, I would have.
I think you did. I think you are the new queen.
It'll be interesting if she ever wears a crown again.
Yeah, right after this episode, let's see, because Queen does come into the Women Tell All with a giant tiara on.
I would like to talk a bit about about Queen's arc, I guess, during this Women Tell All, because she did have kind of like, she tried to give herself a redemption moment.
Mm-hmm. We don't get there.
But it just really didn't happen. Hello, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Great to see you. Hello. But she didn't really get it. There was a lot of people explaining to her like how she affected her on the show, especially with Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
When Brittany was saying to watch myself be called a hoe on national television was hard. Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
For Ryan to say that, to watch myself be called a hoe on national television. And then for Queen to come back and say, well, are you a sensitive person?
I hated that conversation. I was going to get there. That made me so mad that Queen like tried to take, okay, so as a social worker, Queen tried to take this like a counseling role. She like tried to make it sound like she was being empathetic and trying to understand the intentions of Ryan's words. But really, she was just taking all the blame off of herself and throwing it back on her. Well, are you a sensitive person maybe? Because I was called a bully on national television.
Not to mention the death threats.
Right.
I mean, which are messed up.
Which are bad. Yeah, like that's a bad thing. But there is the other girls too were trying to make, I think it was like there was Kit, there was Serena C, there was Brittany who were trying to like make trying to like help her understand the difference of being called things on national television versus like backlash afterward on the internet. It is a little different. Mm-hmm. It can still affect you, but obviously it's not. Or Queen says, not obviously. Queen says it's not affecting her very much. So,
but she was near tears more than once. I think Queen was really trying to put a strong face or foot forward, but her voice was cracking and she was near tears. She really needed a publicist before that Women Tell All, because she could have redeemed herself with the right words.
Yeah,
I agree. I think she was saying the wrong things. I'm not like necessarily questioning her intention.
Right.
I think she was saying the wrong things and it came off really bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like the one thing that I do have a lot of empathy for her.
Me too.
Because I follow the Drag Race franchise very closely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge, huge problem in the Drag Race franchise of people sending death threats to contestants, people finding contestants' parents and sending death threats to their parents. It's wild. It's one of the most toxic fandoms out there. Mm-hmm. And so now we're seeing that in Bachelor as well, which I'm sure it's always been there, but it seems like it's worse this season.
Right.
Just because everybody's online now because of COVID.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So reality contestants are getting it worse, honestly. And so I do have empathy for her because she's an empathetic character because she is so just like bananas and out there that you feel bad for her. But you know, like I feel bad because she was saying people were talking about my eye being swollen and like to have someone's looks be torn down and memes and stuff is probably hard. Yeah. But when someone else is speaking about their trauma that you caused for you to return with saying, okay, but this happened to me. Yep. That's where she was wrong.
Yep. That's what I think too. I think that it's not the conversation that's being asked for or that's appropriate right now. That's not what we're talking about. We're not bringing it back to you. We're talking about how you affected me right now, not how you were affected by the repercussions of what you did.
Mm-hmm. Right. But if you don't know that, like, I'm worried about Queen because I don't think she has a strong enough personality to take all this. I think this is gonna be bad for her.
Yeah. You think so?
I think she puts a very strong persona out there, but I was just watching her body language and listening to her voice, and I think she wants to come off that she said, you know, I just brushed it off. Well, as she was saying that, her voice was cracking and she almost was in tears. It's like, no, you're not just brushing this off. And so I think she wants to be stronger than she really is. So I hope she just turns off her computer for a few months and doesn't read all the stuff because I don't think she can take it.
Yeah.
I do see her coming back for a Paradise season, though. They will bring her back.
I hope so, because she'll thrive on that.
I think so too. Yeah. But I appreciate the perspective, Lori, because I didn't, just thinking like back to what she had done and like just remembering like how toxic she was and then remembering like getting deep, like how people like that have treated me too. It's just hard to see the perspective of, you're right. Like her body language was nervous and she was cracking and that was hard for me to see. So I appreciate that perspective because it's easy to hate on her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a lot of empathy for her there. Like there's a reason she acts the way she acts.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
She'll have her redemption arc on Paradise when she's chaotic on a beach.
I think so. So Queen's toxic energy in the house and then her conversations here at the Women Tell All. Love it.
That's the king.
I love it. That brings us into our Katie conversation, right? So Katie is in the hot seat. Katie and Queen get some words. Katie and the other girls get some words. The girls are really coming on hard on Katie, and they are, for lack of a better word, just blaming Katie for creating the toxic environment in the house. The entire thing. She started it because she brought it up to Matt in the first place. That was frustrating for me to listen to. I know that Chelsea was a big player in this conversation. She was the first one to mention that it wasn't toxic until she brought it up to Matt. Piper also chimed in with questioning Katie how she thought telling Matt about the toxicity in the house would help her relationship. And, Serena C came in as well and just said that Katie wanted to start fires. She just wanted to make things dramatic. Jasenia did defend Katie a little bit here, saying that she didn't think it was Matt motivated. She thought it was, all based on good intention. She thought it was something important to bring up, and it reflected on her values. And Kate, that's essentially what Katie was trying to say too. I'm on Katie's side here personally. This bothered me. I didn't like that all the other girls were just like, it's Katie's fault because she brought it up in the first place. Like, it would have just been hidden this entire time and been fine. How do you guys feel about that, Alex?
Yeah, because creating a toxic environment is not the fault of the person who calls it out.
Right.
That's like Adam was watching some TV show where someone gets arrested for finding a bomb. Like, they're the person who finds a bomb and reports the bomb, and then they're the ones who gets in trouble for the bomb. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why the person who reports the thing is not... This is not
always
dealt it situation.
I mean, the bomb thing is there's some, there's some
there's
there, but not, yeah.
But, in the show that he's watching, it wasn't.
It wasn't. I know what you're talking about. But generally, yes, it's not who's
just because she's the one who reported it doesn't mean that it's her fault. No. If she hadn't have said anything, everyone would have just been being mean to each other behind closed doors. And then Matt would have been turning on the season now and watching it now and being like, what? Mm-hmm. That was happening? And that already was happening because he didn't know the extent of it.
Right.
This would have been that times 20. So it's kind of asinine that all these people are blaming her for it, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're embarrassed of their own actions, probably after watching themselves, because like Chelsea, who I really liked on the show.
Yeah, you were a big fan.
She did have her moments of, kind of being on the mean girl side, but she was not there fully, I would say. She more just like borderline on it.
That we didn't see.
Yeah, unless we weren't shown it. Right. And I feel like she probably saw how she was acting and was embarrassed and needed to place that blame somewhere else. And that's how a lot of these girls acted. And Katie was just like the perfect person to pin that blame on.
I can see that. How do you feel about it, Lori?
Yeah, so I was surprised that there was so much backlash, and I think it backfired on Katie because there were so many mean girls. Yeah. Like, if it had been a couple people, I think the good girls would have, bonded together and, outed the bad ones. But there were so many bad ones that everybody would have been gone.
Yes, I could totally see that. I think that's a very good point to make.
Yeah, I think it was a really a sad message for girls watching that, don't say nothing. Everybody will just hate you. And even though it was the right thing to do. That's
how I felt too. I think that's why it was so frustrating for me, because it was a sad message. Like, especially knowing, like the demographic of girls that watch this, like young girls do watch this. So it's like, you shouldn't be, if you feel like speaking up is the right thing to do, from this episode, you are either told that you could do that, but no one's going to like you, so don't get used to having friends, or don't do it because you'll never have friends.
Well, not only that, but you'll be blamed for
that. Yes, you'll be blamed for it. Right. You'll be blamed for what you're trying to stop. Yeah. That's it was very frustrating.
Matt kept outing everybody, so he didn't handle it. He handled it like a 10-year-old.
Yes, and I think that I want to save that for the later in the episode, because we're going to get through more drama too. And so then, like, how did Matt handle all of it? Because it was very frustrating for me as well.
I will stand by what I said a few weeks ago, where I will not be surprised if we get a Katie as the Bachelorette.
Same. I mean, I think that, so like, we know some spoilers. Katie was supposed to be the Bachelorette. Now it's in question. This episode is definitely setting up Katie to be the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Sorry.
Who doesn't like spoilers, this is not
a
spoiler, because we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. It
what
wasn't
happened
now
was
it's not.
Katie was pretty much guaranteed as being the Bachelorette. And then after everything that happened with Chris and Rachel, the franchise was kind of like, we don't know if this is the right move. Now it's all up in the air and it could be anyone.
Yeah.
So there's really no way of knowing who it will be.
And with that in mind, I think that this episode, I think they edited it to kind of set up a few different women to be in question.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of options that we have from this Women Tell All.
I think so, too.
Who a Bachelorette could be.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
So after we get from the whole Katie thing, we move into the Brittany debacle. So if you don't remember, Anna started a rumor that Chicago is a small town, and she's heard from a number of people that Brittany is a high-end escort, and she tells this to everyone. Matt hears about it. Everyone's very upset because this is just, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the sex work industry. Do it. I don't care. Why not? If I had the confidence, I probably would too. But you don't, sorry, Mom, but you don't say that about someone on national television who isn't in the industry, because you don't know what they're doing, and that could ruin their life and ruin their relationships with their family. You don't know what's going on with them. So we get in, Brittany's in the hot seat. Says that she had a really hard time talking to her friends and family when she got home after this. I don't blame her. We get all of her recaps of when she was on the show, and we see that, you know, what she's talking about being a very bubbly and confident person coming in. And then as soon as these rumors started, she broke down. We see that, which I think was kind of hard to capture based on the way they edited the episodes. But with these recaps, it's very obvious. Anna apologizes again, but we do find out that Anna has never contacted her after all of this, which I think brings into question some of her genuineness. And Brittany questions the same thing. And that's honestly kind of how we end the conversation between them, is with Anna apologizing, but we're all, including Brittany, still questioning if she's being genuine, because Anna kind of brings it back onto herself. And says that, you know, she's experienced a lot of backlash from this too, but she sure isn't compared to what Brittany has experienced, but that's still bringing it back onto herself. So how do you feel about this, Lori?
Well, I was a little confused. So, and maybe you can help clarify, but why would she have such a hard time being with her friends and family if it's not true? And you just say, can you believe I mean, like, I could see not wanting to see the public, but why would you not be able to be with your family and friends because somebody told a lie? I mean,
I think that it might be because of like the platform that it was on. Because if someone said about me in our community, like, I am in no way on the national level like The Bachelor is, but I'm known within my own community. If someone in my community said that about me, there would be people who believed it, who did think it was true.
Okay.
And so my family, my friends might be like, Alex, is this true? And that would probably be a hard conversation for me to have, period.
Okay.
So I don't think it's so much as she's like, they're not going to believe me. I think it might be more, she just doesn't want to have that conversation, because it probably was really traumatic for her to have to go through all that on national TV. I think it's more so like having to go through it and like rehash it every time someone brings it up to her, because now that is what she's remembered as. She said it multiple times.
Yeah, I get why, like, every time you Google her name, that's what's going to come up. That would really bother. I mean, I mean, nobody can ever undo that.
You can't undo that. Yeah.
But I didn't understand the part where I couldn't even talk to my family and friends. I was embarrassed. It's like.
So my thought was maybe her family and friends are very conservative. And maybe they have had questions about her in the past. Maybe they're questioning why she's going on this show. Like maybe they think that's kind of sex worky to be on, be dating one man with 25 other women.
Or
maybe they have preconceptions.
If you didn't want to be outed.
Yeah. So either or. Yeah, I mean anything. I think my mind goes more toward like her family was probably very conservative, and this was embarrassing for her family and friends. Maybe she doesn't have a lot of friends who are like in her outgoing circle. Like I know that's a thing. Like you have your friends you go out with, and then you have your real friends.
Right. Right.
So maybe that was part of the issue. But I agree. I did have the same thought too, of like, I can understand why you don't want to talk to him, but also why not? Why for a few months?
Yeah, that does seem kind of like a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not personally
for a few weeks. I don't know.
Been through this.
Right.
But
but it did seem weird.
It seemed a little, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for the rest of her life, when her kids Google her name sometime in life, that's what's going to come up.
It's out there forever, for sure.
Yep, exactly. Just like Laura.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for chatting with us, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, it is out there.
Exactly. Sure. So, like, I mean, anyone. I Google people's names like when I'm hiring them just to see like what their LinkedIn says, see if they have any publications, like, for good reasons. But that's what's going to come up.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't judge someone for that, but I am going to be curious.
Well, she just needs to walk on the moon or something now. Something bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So,
I feel like she's also one that will come back if she wants. I don't know if she would come back to the franchise.
But if she wanted to, she has space.
They owe it to her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think she would come back just to have more headlines.
Yes.
Just to have more opportunities to create things that are not just this negative experience.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
So that raises an idea or a thought to me too, though, is like shame on the Bachelor for airing something like that. If it's that damaging to someone or they're that whatever, like why would they even air that? Like shame on them.
Because I mean, we did see this week there was a ton of stuff that they didn't air.
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
A ton, which I'm saving for the end. Yeah, there was a ton.
I mean, something that would destroy someone's reputation and destroy their well-being, they choose to air that. So I don't know.
When there's already so much drama on the show too, like you really didn't need to add it in. Like all these new girls were just coming. That could have been the drama itself, but instead the new girl episode was overshadowed by this.
I think it would have been hard though to justify this exit of Anna because it was. It was true. So big.
That's true. Without showing, Anna was going to leave whether it was aired or not. So without showing what happened, it would have been hard.
There was so much contention because this was such a huge moment of the series that it would be really hard to cut it out.
That's a good point. And Anna was looking pretty good before this. Like she looked like a Sleeping Beauty character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think, though, that there's probably very, very few people out there who believe Anna.
I agree.
And it's more so sad that her name is tied to that rumor, but I don't think anybody sees it other than anything other than a rumor.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope that understanding, though, stays next year when this is not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's always going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
So after Anna and Brittany, we get Abby in the hot seat, which is fun. They show some tweets from people who love her representation of the lower D deaf community, which is something that I learned this episode, and I was very appreciative of that. So Abby says that she is not part of the capital D deaf community, just to explain what I just said, because she can communicate vocally. So to be part of the capital D deaf community, in her words, is to not be able to communicate vocally. So she can because of her cochlear implant. And so she got a lot of love for this, which I thought was cool. We've been talking about her throughout her time in the show because we liked the representation of the differently abled community. They talk a little bit about her leaving, and she was disappointed, but not too. I think she was one of the women that they were kind of setting up to be the next Bachelorette if they wanted to. They kind of opened that door for her because she said that she's in a very good space. She is who she is, and she's ready to share it with someone. So how do you guys feel about that, Alex?
I would love to see her as the Bachelorette. What a fun season that would be.
I think so too.
Just because she deserves that. I feel like because
we all do, but she's so fun to watch.
Yeah. And also because she's kind of had like that weird Bachelor experience of being on like the outside of the group. Like she will have the thing that Matt didn't have where she knows what it's like to be one of the contestants.
Yes.
And so she'll be able to handle being the Bachelor or being the Bachelorette better and hold herself better and create a better experience for everybody. I'd love to see her. It'd be great.
I think so too. What do you think, Lori?
I liked her very much, and I think that I would be worried about getting a bunch of guys on there that wouldn't be able to handle that disability, and it'd be a waste of her time. So I would want them to have an understanding ahead of time that this is, if you don't see yourself being able to be married to someone who might have children who might be deaf, don't waste your time.
I can see that, especially when Matt reacted to that conversation she tried to have with him. I think we get a lot of reactions like that. And I think that I know that it made Alex and I uncomfortable. How he kind of brushed it off and was like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
He was like, oh, but let's talk about your dad instead of this huge thing that you just told me.
You know, this thing that really bothers you, I think it's a great thing. So don't worry.
Yeah. Fine.
I think that because when they do cast for these shows, don't they usually tell you who the Bachelor is?
Yeah, you know who you're going to be dating.
Yeah, so I feel like
they wouldn't know that she was deaf. They probably wouldn't know. Some of them wouldn't know even when they were there. So I would want it spelled out to them.
I think they usually know. They'll be like, oh yeah, like they all knew when Claire went on. They were like, oh, we remember your season. Well, Claire thought everybody would remember her season.
Right. Well, I mean, we saw it this season too, when they were like, oh, when I heard it was you, I was very excited.
Yeah.
But maybe they're chosen and then they are told
who it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would put money on if they put, how many guys did they put on a show with these? How many?
There were 32 people this year.
Okay, 32. I would put money. How long would it take for one of those guys to say, it doesn't bother me at all that you're deaf? Because they mess up.
I think that would be
first episode.
If Abby is comfortable putting herself in a position to have people say those things to her that are ableist and that are, you know, probably things that people who are a part of that community hear all the time. If she's willing to put herself out there like that and be an example for other people in the community of like, this is how you handle yourself when people talk to you this way or how she treats you this way. I think that would be a really empowering moment for the community to have someone go on there, you know, and be like a jerk to her and have everybody turn on that person.
Yeah.
That's what she was saying. That was the feedback was empowering, and that the community was telling her that it was. So I hope that it would be that way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think that they could do something really good for her.
She could take it.
What were you going to say, Lori?
I feel like she has a strong enough personality. She could take it.
I think so too.
And she could be a really good spearhead for that, for the community, and that's awesome. I love her. She's whoever cast Abby, nail on the head.
I agree. So next we have Piper in the hot seat. We have Piper and then Serena P in the hot seat before we get to Matt. So first we go with Piper. I am a little bit ashamed to admit I still have a hard time remembering who Piper is. I was curious why she was in the hot seat. I did remember she had my favorite date. I remember that part really well. The theme park. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I also, excuse me, had a hard time. Sorry, died for a second. I had a hard time remembering her moment of leaving. Even when it recapped, I didn't really remember the emotion that was like behind Piper leaving, but I believe it. Watching the recap, it did seem like they were very in love and it was going to work out well. But Piper is still left confused and would like some things answered because it seemed, Matt was saying that they were on the same page, and now watching it back, she realizes they were in totally different books. And I agree, mostly because she's one of the people that we have a really hard time remembering. So obviously Matt wasn't very invested because they weren't showing her very much. Alex, how do you feel?
She was a sleeper. She did not really start to thrive until her one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she got a rose, I was kind of surprised that she got roses over some other people. Like, if we remember Kayla, who came in a truck and was from the same town as Matt, Kayla. He really liked her for like a really long time. Mm-hmm. I was so surprised when Piper got a rose over her. I was like, who is this person? But then once they had their one-on-one, I was like, okay, I can see it now.
Yeah. Lori, what do you think? Oh, sorry, Alex.
I feel like they are also setting Piper up to be a bachelorette, which I would be surprised about, but I could see it with just how they were treating her and speaking to her and presenting her in this episode.
Yes, I did not expect that at all, but based on the way they edited this episode, I can totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
Lori, what do you think about Piper?
She had to get out of the way because Michelle was the other choice. So
yep,
just a casualty of war.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that.
Hey.
And speaking of which, now we get to Serena P. So Serena P is in the hot seat. If you don't remember, Serena P left on her own. Matt was really falling in love with her after their hometown, and he was, feeling like there was still some sort of question there. So Chris urged him to go talk to her. He did, and she said, "I'm sorry, you're just not my person. Gotta send you home." So she walked him out. That was kind of like a reverse Bachelor moment that was kind of fun for some of the fans. She is feeling okay. I don't think she was showing very much emotion at all while she was watching the episode back. Once she started talking, you could tell that she was crying and trying to hold it back, but she didn't, emotionally or physically present as very emotional while she was watching everything. She's not regretful. She felt some guilt. Like, if she stayed, she felt guilty by staying as long as she did, but she doesn't regret what she did, and she wishes the best for him. How do you guys feel about this, Lori?
I was wondering how many people, how many of the other women were like, bitch, you took my spot.
That's what I was wondering too.
Earlier and get out of my way. That's
the conversation I wanted to hear as well, and we did not get that conversation.
Right. So
I thought that was going to be what this was.
Me too. I thought that was going to be the women tell all is fuck you, Serena, for leaving and taking my spot.
Right.
You weren't sure this whole time?
You had 2 one-on-ones.
Yeah. I mean, great. I do love Serena. Like, not talking bad about her, but just no. So, I mean, that was just disappointing, I think. After Serena, though, I just think it kind of just got boring, to be honest. After Serena, Matt comes in.
I lost you.
And that's okay, Lori. We didn't go through very much. After Serena, Matt comes in finally to meet all of the women. We see his big beard for the first time. Matt says he grew the beard because now he's wiser. After all of this journey made him wiser, so he had to grow a beard to show it. We've already talked about the beard.
Oh, real quick on Serena.
Oh, yeah.
I do not see her as the Bachelorette.
Oh, no. She does not want another part of this. She was questioning her ability to make decisions. There's no way.
I don't even think we'll see her ever again in the Bachelor canon. Not one time.
No, but I do think we'll get an update when she gets married and have kids.
Yeah, like they'll post it on Instagram.
Yeah, they will because he's cool.
Okay, sorry. Back to Matt's.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So now we finally get Matt. His first question is, how did you feel seeing all of the drama finally airing? Did you expect it? He said, I did expect it a little bit. I try to be empathetic and not hold them to an unrealistic standard. I can't judge them. The viewers don't know who you are, but I know that who you are, and you're all lovely people. I personally want to throw up. I think that he had he took so much responsibility in the show to call things out. Why wasn't he taking responsibility now? I mean, he didn't need to be a dick or anything, but he didn't need to lie. How'd you guys feel about it? Lori, you first.
I can't be first because I lost the sound for all that, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's okay. How did you feel about Matt not taking any responsibility for the toxicity that was in the house and then letting all of the women off and saying they were wonderful women and no one knows who they actually are besides him?
By this point, none of this is even Matt's fault because whoever brought him to The Bachelor should be fired.
It's their fault.
Ill-prepared. He had no idea what he was in for. The guy could barely speak properly. He was not prepared, and he was a horrible bachelor. Horrible.
I think every single guest we've had on the show this season has said that.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree. Alex, how do you feel?
There are a lot of reasons why I like Matt as the Bachelor, and it's only because of what it stands for the show.
Who Matt is.
Because of who Matt is.
Yeah.
And it is not anything to do with how he has treated the women on the show this whole time.
No.
I think that he has had his moments of being good at being the Bachelor.
When?
When he sent MJ home.
When he sent MJ home. I think when he called Jasenia and MJ into a 2-on-1, I think that was a good moment.
And that was probably scripted. They probably he doesn't even decide that stuff, does he?
Well, yeah, I 100% agree that was probably scripted.
He made the right choice.
They did a whole Gucci walkout to that 2-on-1.
I also think that he had a good moment of being the Bachelor when he sent Abby home, surprisingly, because she just flat out asked him.
Yeah, I can see that.
And he said no.
I agree.
Even though we think it's kind of shitty, or we are bummed.
Well, we just wish he would have liked her more.
Yeah.
Not that what he did was shitty. Yeah.
But the fact that he was honest and that happened with her and with Katie, I'm like, good. I like that he is not leading people on. Except
he is a little bit, because when he does send women home, he likes to dangle roses in front of their faces.
I think he's told me that.
Oh my gosh, holding it in front of Katie.
That bothered you too? Every time, if they were on a date, he would be like, oh.
He just he holds it like,
I think you're a wonderful woman. I think that you're amazing, and you are only meant for love. And I can't have this.
You cannot have this vote. And that is why I am going to give this rose back to the table, and you cannot have it.
He has never watched an episode of this show before, ever. He's so annoying.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that it was good of him to be honest when people ask him and he says no.
Yes, I do too. I do too. Yep, that's fine.
That's
all the women have nothing to say except for I'm grateful for you. One does. Who was it? Who did ask for an explanation? It was Piper. Piper asked for an explanation. He said it wouldn't be fair to lead her on. She doesn't seem satisfied. I agree.
Piper thought that their relationship was a lot deeper than it was.
But. Yeah, I think that she's looking for a more personal conversation, to be honest. I think they probably did have a deeper relationship than we saw, and she probably needs a real conversation, not a televised conversation.
Yeah.
And then
I think when he showed up with that beard, anybody who thought they were sorry they lost him was like, hell yeah, thank you.
Except for Jasenia, who kept saying 10-10, 10-10, 10-10.
Imagine your ex-boyfriend walks onto a stage and you clap for him.
I know.
You're like,
oh my god, Jasenia, I didn't even think about that. That's so funny.
That is funny.
Can you imagine? No.
No. Who does that?
Yes. Yes, he really likes everything. Someone even someone
it's my ex-boyfriend
says, I think it was Piper who says that Matt is very good at making everyone feel very special, but you don't necessarily know what that means. Yeah. And I like that. So now the emotional part of Women Tell All is done. That's about it. We get into some funny stuff now. A reoccurring issue that apparently the public had was with Matt keeping his eyes open while he kissed. I tried this earlier today and it was incredibly awkward. I'm just going to tell you. I tried and I was just like, you look, this is too close.
POV, you're kissing Matt James.
Yes, good thing he didn't have a beard while they were doing that. Probably would have gotten in his eyes.
The fact that he said that he didn't realize that he did this is bad.
Apparently, Piper was the first to tell him. He was shocked that wasn't a thing, and then everyone else was like, "Yeah, that was weird."
Yeah, so he's never had a girlfriend or what?
I wish I was thinking too. I wanted to see that conversation. They should have aired Piper being like, Matt, why do you keep your eyes open when you kiss me?
Yes. I agree. And he said
that footage.
I think that he has never had a girlfriend because he said, well, they're just all so gorgeous. I just can't not look at them.
Okay.
Okay. Never seen a woman before?
Okay.
It was weird. She's never woken up next to someone. That's all I can say.
Okay, he probably won't know when to open his eyes now. He'll be kissing somebody. Can I look now or are we done?
Are we done? I can totally see that.
Oh, Alex, you're so funny. I see you.
Oh, jeez.
No wonder Rachel put him in a blindfold when she'd put him in the car.
Yes, that's why. We were all so confused by that. That is why.
She's like, no.
Oh, I love that. So to end the episode, we get to see some unseen moments. There are apparently quite a few dates that we didn't see. One was part of the farm date. They made them eat a stack of pancakes and then chug a pint of beer.
I'm sorry, but what the fuck was that?
That was just rude.
That's just getting weird. That's just, I mean, this is not like, what are those? It's not like this show.
Fear Factor?
Yeah.
Where they're sticking their hands in the boxes of bugs to find engagement rings.
What were those dates?
They're terrible.
Weird. Well, now we understand that the weirdest bug dates that we saw, those weren't the weirdest.
I'm like, you were all promising from the Chris Harrison porn book dates.
I still haven't gotten my Chris Harrison porn book. Sorry for the loud clap, but I'm very upset about it. It was supposed to be here mid-February. No, it's just late. It was supposed to be here like a month ago.
They're probably cheaper now.
They probably are.
Lori, that was such
I
a good
felt
roast.
bad about the royalties after that. I was like, damn it. That book was $12. He probably got like 30 cents from that.
Oh my God.
You're so right. Yes. Thank you, Claire, for reminding me. So there were two women who were not there tonight. One was Sarah, which makes me wonder how her dad is doing.
Yeah,
Hey, Sarah, hope you're okay. The other was Heather. The entire time we kept seeing the back of Heather's head. If you remember, Heather was the previous Bachelor contestant who came and was like, hey, Matt, you're going to love me. Stop all this. Marry me now. And the back of her head was always right next to Kit. But then it would shoot to the front and she was not there. They cut her out. So whatever she had to say was not important. And they didn't even want you to see that she was invited because they cut her out. If you see any pictures from the front, she is not there. There's no one sitting next to Kit or behind Katie. I think it was Katie. And in all of the back pictures, like where you see, where Chris is in the front and you see all the women sitting in front of him, she is there. She is 100% there. And it's so awkward. I wish I had a picture to show you.
That's wild.
Isn't it though?
I wonder if they cut her out because she was saying something.
That's what I think too. Or it was just like a time suck and they were like, it's not important. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Yeah. Marilyn wasn't there. I meant to do like a Google search and figure out who was and wasn't, and I forgot. Yeah, why wasn't Marilyn there? She was very emotional. Maybe she was just not.
Are you asking if Marilyn was invited or if Heather was invited? Because Heather was there. They just cropped her out.
Yeah.
Of the episode. I feel like they're just like, this is unimportant. The audience didn't like this. Everyone was mad about it. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah. I don't know if they always invite everyone. I don't watch enough seasons to know that or not. So maybe they leave out some of the earlier girls or like the less dramatic girls or
maybe girls
Marilyn is
because of COVID.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, because it sounded like they had to quarantine and stuff beforehand together because Chris made some comment about thanks for putting up with being.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like Sarah probably just didn't want to take the time away.
I think so too. I think she just didn't want to go.
And Marilyn was probably like, no.
Yeah, I think Marilyn was just like, Matt broke my heart.
Yeah, Heather was there though. Heather was sitting behind Kit. They just cropped her out and edited her out of the whole thing.
It wasn't even a crop out. It was they removed her. Like they removed her in her seat because if she's sitting directly behind Katie, so you can't crop her out. You have to remove her. But from all the back pictures, there's that, that platinum blonde hair straight down to the butt. There's no one else who looks like that, and there's no one else on the cast with that hair that night.
So what's the internet saying about that? Like, I didn't know that.
They're just like, what?
Like, why is Heather edited out?
So is anybody following Heather? Like, has Heather spoke out?
No.
Needs to call her up.
I agree. Where is Heather?
What the heck?
Is
Heather, where are you okay, girl?
So now we venture into our Crime Junkie podcast.
Yeah, people need to hear. Where is Heather?
So we come to our end. Thank you, everyone who's been being here for us. Before we leave you, we have our Love Connection of the Week. Tonight, we're going to do who our love connection was, because obviously it wasn't a real episode. These are all Matt's exes, so we didn't see a lot of love between him and them. And we're also going to offer you our prediction for the winner, which is 2 weeks away. Don't miss it, March 15th. Alex, who is your love connection?
My love connection, who I loved the most, was obviously Abby. Abigail. We love Abby. I would love to see her be the Bachelorette. She definitely had my heart this whole time. Abby, you're my love connection this week.
Shout out to Abby. Hey, if you're still single.
Yeah, and then we'll go through these and then we'll say our predictions afterwards.
That sounds good. Lori, who's your love connection?
My love connection was Katie when she talked about the person that's out there waiting for her.
I like that too. That did warm my heart.
Oh yeah, I was like, she's got it. She's all right. She'll be all right.
Warm my heart.
Yep.
My love connection of the week was Brittany.
Yeah.
Honestly, her small little speech about valuing sex workers sent chills through my body. I was so excited to hear it on ABC. Like that was cool. So she's my love connection. I like that she didn't have to bring that up and she did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And prediction for the winner, I'm gonna go first. I think that we're all going to have similar answers where we have a prediction and then we have a hope. My prediction is Rachel. My hope is Michelle. I don't think I need to explain why. If Michelle doesn't marry Matt, Michelle Obama, I hope, is okay. But I think she will marry Barack Obama soon. That's my prediction.
What?
Michelle is an Obama.
She is?
Yes, I think so.
Oh.
She's meant to be in Obama. She's just perfect for that family. So someone in that family is going to marry her, and the only current contender would be Barack. And if I don't want anything bad to happen to Michelle Obama, so we're just, I think that's the only other option for her.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Maybe Barack has a best friend, or
I'm a really big fan. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm a really big fan of Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle's my favorite. He's an idiot if he doesn't marry her. She's an idiot if she marries him.
Yep. Yeah.
And I predict Rachel only because I don't know. They're just really not. They're kind of keeping her in the wings or whatever. There's just not a lot. It's like I feel like they're gonna surprise. Not really surprised, but it's like it seems like the winner never gets a lot of airtime because so people don't pick them. But so I predict Rachel, but he's an idiot if he doesn't pick Michelle.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely agree with what you said, Lori, where he's an idiot if he doesn't pick Michelle and Michelle's an idiot if she says yes.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
My dream ending is Matt proposing to Michelle and Michelle saying no.
Yes.
But I think that Rachel's going to win. That's my
I agree.
My guess.
I don't ever want to see Michelle as the Bachelorette, though. I think that if she doesn't win, she could be the Bachelorette.
I think that's Bachelorette.
I think that's below her.
I think that she would bring some class to being a Bachelorette.
How much class can you bring to the show?
Yeah. I think she's gonna hook up with a Bachelor, somebody from a previous Bachelor show that just gets her vibe, and they meet at some Bachelor party.
I can see that.
Get together and
someone from within the canon.
Someone in the works. There's already someone in the works. If it's not Barack, it's someone else.
I could see her as the Bachelorette.
I like old men. Old men aren't too old. Barack's fine. He's young.
He's too young. She needs children, family.
She wants children.
Isn't she a teacher?
Yeah.
So she's gonna want children of her own, I would think.
Yeah, she can have children.
Claire did say in the comments that some people think that she'll be the Bachelorette, and this is in reference to Heather. So they cut her out because they didn't want to show the drama that went down with her because she's going to be the Bachelorette.
That would be very annoying, but I could see that.
She seems like such a Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that Claire? She's so smart. She comes up with the best angles.
I know.
No idea.
No idea who she is.
Never heard of her.
Never met her. Just a fan.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. So who is your hot mess this week? I'll start. Mine is Matt letting everyone off so easy. Lori, what's your hot mess?
So I had a tie. One was MJ's hair. I mean, she's a hairstylist, and that hair is freaking mess. She needs to put it in a ponytail. And the other one,
your hair when you don't straighten it.
No, but I'm not on national television. Good grief! And and I'm not a hairstylist. I mean, doesn't she have a best friend that would help her look better?
They'd be like, girl, don't go out there like that.
This is true.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm sure it's beautiful if she did something with it. It's so much of it. Anyway, so that drove me crazy. And then also, I can't believe they had Matt showing that rose and dangling it in front of Katie and not giving it to her again. That's just
again.
That was a hot mess to me.
I appreciate that hot mess. Thank you. I 100% agree. Alex, who was your hot mess this week?
My hot mess this week was the fucking pancake date. I'm sorry. That date was offensive.
I know. Like, what? That does not belong
anywhere. Why are you making anyone
Are they getting lumberjack women? I mean, who are they getting? Like people from the Swamp People show or something?
And they're like, Queen, throw that pancake. I'm like, who cares?
I hate pancakes.
And
I can barely eat one pancake. Makes you want to throw up. It's too sugary.
God, what a mess. What a mess.
I feel you. Well,
anyway, y'all, it is that time of the episode. You can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. You can find me at alexknowsitall on anything. There's
Ken, those things.
Yep, there's Ken. Follow Ken, and also follow our special guest, Lori, on Instagram.
If she accepts you.
If she accepts you. It's only for the elite.
It's debatable. If you have a crown,
yes,
wearing
will be judged.
As always, like and subscribe to our channel so you can see more of our recaps. Follow us at Couch Potato QWNZ on Twitter and on Facebook at Couch Potato Queens. And you know what, y'all? Don't let anybody dull your sparkle.
No.
Bye.
Bye.